Jeff drives the number 24 DuPont Chevrolet. He's a four-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion. And he raced his way into the chase. I guess it was Sunday morning once that wound up. And you've got one win on the season, certainly at Pocono. But I know just being around you a little bit after the race and in Chicago, that was a big deal for you to get in that chase. So congratulations. Talk about that a little bit now, Jeff, as you prepare to win another championship.
Well, thank you. No, it was huge, and we're still feeling, the impacts of that performance. The whole team is just extremely fired up and excited about the way things have been going, and to be able to pull that off, gives us a huge boost, and we're ready to go get after it here in Chicago this weekend. Feel like we've got a good game plan and a great race car, and the stash is back, so I think we're in good shape.
Yes, it is. We'll take questions now for Jeff.
Well, not the same one.
No, not the same one. Times change. Who's got a question for Jeff? Start here with Jim.
Jim Hutter, Charlotte Observer. Jeff, you spoke often before you got into the chase about how you felt your team was running well enough to be a chase team this year, and that different circumstances had left you on the outside looking in. Is that kind of a positive going forward in the sense that you already felt like you were competitive enough to be in the chase, thus kind of already felt you were competitive enough to win the championship? Some people squeak in the chase and then sometimes you don't hear from them the last 10 races. Do you feel you're in a better position having run that well all season?
I think, yes. I think the only way that you don't hear from us in the chase is if some of the same things that bit us earlier in the year bite us again. If we finish where we're running and where our performance level is at, then we're going to be a major threat in this thing. And we've done that the last 3 weeks. We've done it sporadically throughout the year, but we just didn't do it that consistently. And that's and you can point fingers at a lot of different reasons. And I'm the biggest believer on you make your luck by being the best team out there. And I don't feel like we've been the best team out there so far this season. But what I love about the chase is it's all about timing. And if you pull it together and you improve those things in areas that you're weak in at the right time and you make your way into it, and Tony Stewart proved that last year, that anything is possible. And especially after Saturday night's performance, we definitely feel like that this season has just now been rejuvenated for us, and we're on a clean slate, and we've got an excellent opportunity to do something pretty spectacular that we might not even have expected with this season and the way it could possibly turn out.
Take a question from this gentleman right here, and then we'll go over to Jay Hart, and then to Nate, and then to Stan. Go ahead, right here. Yes, sir.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Jeff, you've kind of been the mindset, it's win or go home, pretty much since, mid-season? Does that mindset change now? Is it you racing for points now, or is it still we're going out, we're going to try to win races and let the chips fall where they may?
I can promise you that that's what got us in this thing, and that's what's going to keep us in it and get us the championship. If anything, I think what these last 3 weeks, especially, and really this season, has proven to us is that you have to aggressively pursue wins. Obviously, accumulating the most points, that's what wins this championship. And we know that we've got to accumulate basically 12 more than Denny and 9 more than a bunch of other guys, and 6 more and 3 more than others. So we certainly have our work cut out for us. But we're going to go out there with nothing to lose, everything to gain, just the same way that we have approached these last several weeks.
Go here to Jay and then to Nate. Go ahead.
Jay Hart, Yahoo Sports. Jeff, just looking last year, going into the chase last year, you were pretty hot going into the chase last year, and then it obviously didn't go exactly as you planned. Can you compare where you were a year ago versus right now? Because it seems like the numbers going into the chase are actually pretty similar.
Yeah, I feel like last year We just didn't start the chase off the way that I felt like we needed to, and I think some of it maybe was that we didn't have that win or nothing type of attitude. We kind of got into the, all right, we got 10 weeks, we got to be consistent and kind of do what's gotten us here, and that's not the case for us this year. We didn't expect to be here. The pressure is not on us right now. It's obviously on the guys who are favored, and we can go out there and just be aggressive and do our thing and do it under the radar. Where last year I feel like we were kind of one of the favorites, going in, and we just did not pursue the wins as aggressively as we're going to this time. And I also feel like we just didn't step up when we needed to. I don't know if we went into it quite like we have this year. It's certainly a lot different circumstances, but we just over those 10 weeks we just failed. So we're going to try to do it different this time.
Is being under the radar has got to be a pretty unfamiliar position?
I don't know. I've won a championship since 2001, so it's not that unfamiliar. It's certainly, this is a much different situation and position to be in this year than we have been in the past, yes.
Let's go to Nate, then we'll go to Stan, and then to Shannon.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Jeff, after Richmond, Dale Jr. kind of joked that what would be different about having 4 cars in the chase for Hendrick might be that the Saturday debriefings get a lot shorter. And you kind of alluded to that yesterday or Wednesday as well, that information sharing could be more challenging. Are you expecting that that there might be that symbiotic relationship that Hendrick has might take a hit with all 4 cars in the chase? And has it happened that way in the past, like say in 07 when you and Jimmy were going head to head all the way through?
Yeah, I don't expect that to really happen this weekend, but I think if in 5 or 6 weeks, if all 4 of us are in it, or if 2 or 3 of us, or however it works out, if you're going to be competing with that individual right up to the final races of the chase, then it's almost impossible not to have some information sharing get a little less or be a little more challenging, and that's just the competitive nature. But the thing is, what's different these days versus maybe say 07, we have a database that information is put into in every test, every practice session, and every adjustment that is made, every comment that is made. And so the way we look at it these days is, okay, yeah, we might go into the meeting and not be a full wide open book, and the reason we sometimes would do that is just because it's in the database. If you want it, go to the database. It just takes a little more time and effort in ciphering. So that's kind of the way that when we've gotten into these types of situations, which we've been in them before, that's kind of the way it goes down, and that's fine. That Rick expects us, and we expect of ourselves, to do what we have to do to win races and win the championship. And what got us here is working together. What's going to get us that championship, or one of these teams that championship, is going to be working together. But we understand that a little bit more is on the line now, and it will get challenged, and that's fine.
Got 3 more questions. Stan, Shannon, and we'll end with Lee. Go ahead, Stan.
Hey, Jeff. Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. You've used the word aggressive several times. In comparing what you're going to need to do over the next 10 races, are you going to have to be more aggressive than you've ever had to be in any championship run that you've made up to this date?
Possibly. I mean, I haven't won a chase, so I got to obviously do it different than what we've done in the past, because what we've done in the past hasn't worked. You have a certain style and mentality of how you go about races, and what I love about our team here recently, and I think Michigan was a turning point for us. We had that bad race at Michigan, and we had the failure with the engine. This team, especially Allen, got angry, and not angry at the organization, angry that we're better than this, and we can do better than this, and that we're in control, of how we manage these next several races. And Alan took control of that, and just the meetings, the debriefs, everything. He just kind of ramped it up to another level of we're not going to stand for this. And it got all of our attention. It scared the hell out of me, I'll be honest. I mean, he scared me a couple times. And that's what it takes to be a great leader. And look where we are now. And I think you're going to see that continue. And so aggressiveness, everybody thinks of aggressiveness as you're just going to go in there and knock the guy out of the way. That doesn't do you any favors, doesn't make you any friends, and doesn't necessarily, get you in the chase. Thankfully, I can say that because I didn't have to do that to Denny at Atlanta, and here we are, we're in it. But you got to be aggressive in how you push, mentally in preparing for a race, and the calls that you make. And, I laugh because everybody this week, like, oh, that's the Jeff Gordon, of old right there. I was driving way harder, more aggressive at the beginning of that race in Richmond, trying to hold on to that thing because it was so out of control loose, than I was in the closing laps. In the closing laps, I had a car that I could dive 3 wide, that I could make some of those moves because we were moving forward. And so when we have that car, you're going to see that. And that's to me not something that's changed. It's just, that's the position you got to put yourself into. So and during that race, we aggressively made big changes because we were so far away, so far behind. And that's sometimes what happens. You get into that box, like those other 5 or 6 guys. They got in that box, they got a little comfortable and said, okay, we'll be okay even though we didn't pit here. And for us, we were kind of in that position of we got nothing to lose. Let's put 4 tires on here and go. And so, we got to keep that in mind as we run these races to keep that up.
Go with Marty and end with Lee. Go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Jeff, Vegas says you're 25-1. Worst odds in the field. But yeah, awesome news. But you know what a championship team feels like. So knowing that, how would you gauge your odds with this team?
Well, I certainly wouldn't. If I was, setting the odds in Vegas, I would probably not be too far off of that. I might not put us at 25-1, but if you just base it off of the last 3 or 4 races that we've run, but we definitely have some work to do. We've got a few weaknesses, and I hope that it's not like all of a sudden magically they're gonna turn around. But you'll be amazed at how when things, just like in that race Saturday night, we went from nothing going right to all of a sudden everything's going right. And that's sometimes what can happen. When that momentum shift happens, all of a sudden, the pit stops get better. All of a sudden, the cars get better and the communication gets better, and it just starts making things work. We've done that the last 3 weeks. We've proven to ourselves what we're capable of doing. Now we got to go do it over the next 10 weeks. And everything changes here this weekend. This everybody ramps up. Everybody brings out their best, and we're going to find out if our best is capable of winning a championship. So we don't go off of odds and stats. We just go put the best thing underneath us we can on Saturday, and then fight to the last lap and see where we end up. But I'm hoping after Sunday, those odds are a little bit different.